Yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful time to be alive, and I hope that you are grateful that you are alive. I know that I am. And as we come on this journey together to grow, to learn, and then to be able to offer solutions to the so many people out there, I believe that we can do our part, and then the whole world can also fall in place, or we can be able to do whatever we can. So today we want to be able to talk about the so much violence that has been happening out there, but my heart mostly goes out to the mothers that have not made it home to their families, and the fathers that have not seen the next day, and the ministers that have not made it out of their gates to go to work. And there's so many killings, rampant killings and violence cases that we have had in the recent past. You will agree with me that it has been on the rise, and now it seems like it is boiling, and we are about to get to the boiling point. But you and I don't want to get there, and that is why we have this beautiful conversation with Samuel and Claudine to be able to dissect into these issues as normal people, as mothers, as normal people that are walking on the streets, normal people that are working with other people, that have families that go through the stresses of life. But again, we keep making decisions day by day to make sure that we progress, and we hope that you can be able to make that too. So I have these awesome people with me, and the recent violences that you have seen, and I know that maybe you have witnessed more than I have witnessed, because we watch different TV stations, we read different newspapers, maybe on social media also, on our feeds, we get different information. So it's possible that what I know is more than what you know, or it's possible that what he knows is more than what we know. But we want to get to the point of what is your thought about these violences that are happening first?
Oh, thank you. First of all, what I think is we have seen these things before they go to the extreme. Mm-hmm. But maybe we ignore, or we are like, oh, this person will be fine. Mm-hmm. So it's until it goes to the extreme that we wake up and we're like, okay, I wish I did something then, when I first realized something.
Okay. Is there a scenario where you've witnessed something, like in the making, yeah, and then maybe you didn't do anything because maybe it was far away from you, maybe it wasn't close to you, but have you witnessed something like that, and maybe it got to a boiling point, but maybe it was out of your reach, or you just didn't do anything about it?
Yeah. There is a video which moved viral. Mm-hmm. It was a Kenyan lady, mm-hmm, who stabbed a child. I don't know whether you saw it, but yeah, I was so interested to know how did this lady reach to this point, mm-hmm, of closing the house and stabbed her own baby. Mm. But she realized that actually what people were saying is people go to know before it reached to that extent. Okay. People would tell, yes, by the names she was calling the child, by the way she would ignore once in a while the child, mm-hmm, but they didn't think it was going to reach at that level where she can close the house and stabs her own baby. Mm. So that is why I positively think we realize things before they go to that extreme. Okay. But we're like, maybe she's having a bad day.
So we keep ignoring.
Yes.
What's your take? When all these things were happening back to back, what went through your mind?
It is true. People have been having stress issues and all that kind of thing. And these killings and sort of have been happening, though it has been either being reported or it was happening at a slow level. But of recent, we have seen a surge that it has become almost an everyday thing, whereby here, shooting there. Somebody has been killed there and the rest. I would like to first go back to what my colleague Claudine said about the Kenyan lady. It was something true the neighbors were witnessing. The lady in question had been checked by the boyfriend. So she had been calling the child names, funny names and that kind of thing. Then when she was locking the door, the neighbors were seeing and ended up stabbing the child. So it is something that we oftentimes ignore because we have that permissive nature in our society currently, whereby my neighbor's problems are not mine. So that is what I believe perhaps could have reached to this extent where currently we find ourselves. That,
Okay, but I want to get what came to your mind on one of these particular, let's say the one where the moneylender was shot. When you had that scenario, what went through your mind as a human being, as a normal human being on the streets of Kampala, that something like that can actually happen when you are the one in the banking hall or you are the one at, you know, at a forex bureau, something like that? What went through your mind?
Sincerely speaking, the issue of the money lender, whereby somebody goes, picks a gun, comes and shoots, I just felt where we have reached, there is nobody who is safe. But of course, I believe with such cases, we basically just need to create awareness. And
that's actually the thing that I really wanted to pull out, because as a human being, when you look at these incidences, we formulate opinions about them. So when you say that where we have reached, no one is safe, you realize that yes, on social media, people use it as a cliche, but again, it's the truth. Because there's a lady that actually mentioned that when that happened, she was nearby, and she says that ever since then, when she sees a police or when she sees, you know, a security guard, she takes cover. Like it's very automatic for her that she knows I am not safe for as long as I have someone who has a gun in front of me, or someone who is a security guard in front of me, or someone in uniform in front of me. So that means that people are being affected. If you know that you are not safe, then the life that you knew has ceased to happen, and now you have to be overly cautious and look over your shoulder. What could happen around me anytime? Anything can actually go wrong.
And more so when you are scared of the people who are meant to protect you.
Exactly.
I mean, it gets worse. Me in that scenario, I was like, this is so unethical. Until I started thinking about it, like, policemen or people in uniform, they're also humans.
Of course.
But in the first place, I'm like, why would he do this? Like, he has advantage of having maybe a gun, but I expect him to be having rules that I'm supposed to follow this, I'm supposed to do this, so I cannot pull out a gun on a civilian.
But when the humanity takes over.
Yes. Now when okay, I'm like, okay, this person was going through something. Just like me, the normal person, I can't access a gun, but maybe I can access bottles, a knife, I can, you know. So I was like, I think these people need to be talked to as well. They also need to be treated as humans, which in most cases we do not do. You know, we think they are protected, you know, they are not part of us. Yes. And we think they can take it all. Anything with, you know, we throw to them. So, and it also has something to do with finances. Like,
and that's why I want us to head, because I don't want us to go into the intricate details of who got where and who got what gun and who did what. I think the aspect is really, the gist of it is the violence that has been on display and has been on rampage. Like there's something that has been loosed and it's out there to claim people's lives, and not just people's lives, but even suicidal, you know, because people are actually committing suicide. And so what are the boiling issues? Because by the time that comes as a display, it's like a leaf. That means there was a root somewhere, there was a stem somewhere, and it continuously grew. Because when someone just gets a stress, you know, a one-time stress, sometimes it's not so easy for them to erupt to that magnitude. Maybe they're going to do something that is lesser than that. Maybe they're going to withdraw. Maybe they're going to be quiet. Maybe they're going to, whatever it is, shut the world, their world off. But by the time someone claims another person's life, that means that it has been growing for a long time. What is boiling? What is underneath everything that is happening that we see? The newspapers definitely now, they have front pages filled with all these things, and we're about to forget. Maybe a week goes, we're about to forget it, something else happens, and it reminds us afresh everything that has actually happened. What's boiling underneath it?
I believe the major cause of all these current state of affairs could be a result of low pay, because when you look at it is mainly the armed forces, the people in uniform. I believe where the amount that they earn at the end of the month is really something which is still not what can be able to take care of their families. And
but again, low pay, You agreed to this. Clearly, you went to a human resource, appeared in an office somewhere, and someone told you, I'm going to give you 200,000 or 300,000, or I'm going to give you, these are the allowances, and maybe you're going to stay in a uniport. Maybe, as in, clearly, everything comes on, you know, in the clearance. No one tells you, you come, but we will see what we will pay you. And then all of a sudden you're surprised that, bam, hey, it's 200,000. That means you said yes to it. That means there should be something more than low pay that is happening.
Okay, besides the low pay, we also have issues to deal with the accommodation. If I find somebody, like the way you've stated, somebody staying in the uniport has a family of maybe 5 members.
Who gave birth to the family? 5 million, 5...
Well, normally, when somebody gets work, people always hope for promotions, and I believe I still don't know, I haven't done any studies on it, but you find that most of the men in uniform, promotions normally come, but of course, promotion issues depend on so many other factors, the discipline, the hard work. So somebody who is already demoralized, you find even his performance at work is affected.
Then resign. Resign. So,
what I think is, you know, most of the times when you talk about stress, we usually think it is something to do with family. Back home, maybe something is not very okay. But going on his point, I think working conditions are really making these things, you know, so high and everything. I won't look at the pay as per se, but pay does a lot, and even the time, if there is delay in payment, but as well, our bosses.
Yeah, the delay in payment, I think I'll be like, yeah, that is out of your hand, clearly. Yeah. You agreed to be paid promptly.
Yes.
You didn't agree. And the issue of patience, not everyone is patient. Other people can be patient, but other people are not patient.
But it also depends. You know, it is very simple when your boss says, things are not okay. Can you know...
Be patient, hold on a bit.
Yes. But there is this boss telling you things are not okay. Meanwhile, they are ordering Java. Like, you're like, no.
Yeah.
We won't do this, you know. My kids
They're on pieces of chicken.
You know.
For you have nothing.
You have nothing. So work conditions.
So that sparks off the frustration, the resentment, and the anger.
So because you can imagine, I'm at work, I'm appearing at work, but back home they're demanding me rent. My child didn't get maybe report because of school fees. My wife is sick. And then I'm at work, no one is talking to me the right way because maybe of my
giving
position.
you the right message,
Yes. And then you have money as my boss.
Yeah.
And then I'm
clearly,
also,
I can see you have money.
Yes. And on top of that, I'm a man. You know, these things differ. When you're a man, you are told to, you have to be strong. You can take it.
And then you are the home provider, you know, you're the breadwinner at home.
Yes. So when you add up all those things, you're like, I think let me use what I have to deal with the situation.
But to what end? To get money?
No. At that point, people are hopeless.
I know.
At that point, the person
no, I'm
is
questioning
thinking,
all these so that the person that is watching us should be able to dig deeper instead of just reacting on a whim. You know, on a whim, something has happened. You've not even gone through the different angles. But for you is, because this generation, again, we have a lot of a sense of entitlement. Especially the younger ones, not really the older ones. But again, sense of entitlement is a sense of entitlement. Anyone can actually have it. So you realize that when we don't dig deeper to the issues to understand what else can I do? Can I be able to go, if someone has not given me the right information, can I be able to find it somewhere? Can I go knock on a certain office and be able to ask, what's up, guys? But it's 3 weeks past pay time.
Are those people we are knocking, they are like, are they okay? Can we talk to them?
And that's the thing, because when you find out and you're like, that one, I can't talk to her about my issue. You know, so I know people become hopeless. But what I'm saying is, find out and keep finding and get more clarity before you react, because there's so many people that we are having this conversation with that are also going through the different, you know, stresses of life. But remember, we're still talking about what's bubbling underneath. Apart from the conditions of work, apart from the pay, apart from, it causes frustration and resentment. And something else that you said.
I believe part of the reasons could have been as well as past events, especially traumatic events. You may find maybe somebody has been battling long illness and has entered a series of depression, or maybe you've lost a dear one in hospital, you've been taking care of that person, and that person might have been the breadwinner. Now you totally have no means of survival. You can think of other things.
And different workplaces, we don't have
we actually don't have
people to rehabilitate us.
True.
No. And when you mentioned about entitlement, there is comparison. You know, maybe when you just joined maybe a company or your workplace, and they bring in someone new, you think you have the same qualifications, and
you're doing the same job.
Yeah,
like the same thing, and then they're being paid higher.
They're being paid higher, or before
like,
you know it, they're
do
promoted.
wrong? Yeah.
They found you there, so you're like, so what's up? What am I not doing? You know, so comparison, not only even at work, people surrounding us. You know, there is a lot of things society has told us that by this age, you're supposed to have this, this, and this, and this. So you look through your age, you look through your achievements, and, you know, they do not correspond.
So, but the issue of comparison, you know, it goes two way. That some people, yes, you have a ground to actually do compare because it's natural. Do you know that it's natural? It's not something that you just call and you're like, come, I want to compare. No, it happens naturally. And so, and it's like a reflex action. You know, it comes without warning. But sometimes you actually have proper grounds of, okay, clearly, I know that my performance is good. I know my productivity is good. So if it's not nepotism or favoritism, then there's something I'm not understanding. But again, just like we say, the sense of entitlement, there are those who know that they are chillers, they are non-performers, but again, they don't want anyone to go ahead of them. So when someone comes in and, you know, newcomers have a way of overworking and, you know, giving more and spending more time at office and stuff. And so, like, let's see. You know, after 2 months, what this workplace is. So before you know it, this person has gained favors. Why? Because they are showing a different attitude towards work, and maybe you're not showing a different attitude. And I will say, even when these two people actually, one has a valid reason to complain or to compare, and the other one does not have valid reasons, you know that they get the same amount of stress. Because the one who is a non-performer actually will even get more stressed. There's a way they stress themselves all of a sudden. Like I've been here the longest. So they think serving a long time equals to productivity, which is not automatic. And so when they stress themselves, you realize that the eventual reactions can actually be very drastic or bad, but they all come from a point of stress. But again, the stress has not been caused by the same thing. It's the different worldview that they actually contain. So I hear you when you say that comparison is something that is causing people to actually, number one, become insecure. It's causing them to become insecure. Even in normal life, someone gets married before you and you're like, I think I am more beautiful than them. Hello, I have some money, or I have a better job, or something like that. And then, because someone was telling me, actually, I think this morning, that, but what should I do? Because, you know, it's taken long for them, you know, to get married. And you can see they're really frustrated.
Like society imposes things to us, you know, because who said that you're supposed to go to school, graduate, get a job, get married, have kids? Like, who said it should be in that order?
Build a house somewhere.
Thank you, build a house.
Buy a car.
And you buy a car after building a house.
I know.
You don't buy a car before building a house. Otherwise, if you do that, then you are not serious with your finances. Who said that? You know? So when maybe society stops imposing, or society might not stop, but when you sit and be like, I think my formula would be this. I'm going to have a car before I build a house. Or I'm going to go for masters before I get married. For ladies, because everyone tells you when you go for masters, no one is going to marry you.
Who said that if you buy a car, no one will like you?
Yes, because you have a
What
lot of
happened
books.
to, not just Ugandan ladies, okay, ladies.
So, all those things.
Do you know that those things can be also a source of stress?
Yes.
Like you having achieved a lot
Yes.
than the world expects you to have achieved.
Especially
I
as
have
a
seen
woman.
a woman go on a border when she has a car. She parks the car, goes on a border for a date.
Because
She wants to be accepted.
So,
Stress issues of that.
You see, stress does not come from just bad things.
You know,
it also
so-
come from good things.
maybe when we reach a point where you're like, I'm going to allow things which I can take in and they really stress me. And from who exactly? From, you can decide that some people will say whatever they say, but I won't take them serious or I won't consider them a point.
At what point does someone know I am stressed?
I believe if you have distorted sleep, like maybe you sleep and
Insomnia, you can't sleep.
you may be talking to me and you find somebody is absent-minded and that kind of thing. So those could be part of the reasons.
Okay, so
Whereby
if
personally
you
you
see
can
you
reflect and say,
can't sleep, the stress is
both
getting
ways.
to me.
Of
Okay.
course, it's both.
Sometimes it's of sleeping
Yeah, you
too much.
oversleep. Yeah.
So you know that for the past 1 week, I've
My
been
sleep has
oversleeping
been-
more than normal.
Yeah.
Or I may have had sleep disturbances, or I've had to even take medication for me to sleep, or take
Yes.
tablets for me to
Yeah.
sleep. Something else, substance abuse. Can it be one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, because people do that so that you somehow forget your problems. You know,
And in most cases, when people have issues, you find this level of self-esteem goes down. So you find most of them would go into substance abuse, alcoholism, and these other drugs, marijuana,
what?
and the rest.
To pump
so that
up
they
their-
can pump up themselves.
their
and
confidence.
They feel, they're a little bit okay. Which, of course, in the long run, it accelerates.
Okay,
all
so
these
they're
things.
trying to build their confidence, and then they're trying to forget their problems
Yeah, they're trying to
at the same
forget.
time. And then when they wake up, they have more problems than they had before.
before they went for that.
Yeah, because then substance abuse, you're stressed about money. So you're spending more money to buy the substance, whatever substance, whether alcohol, whatever drugs or what,
Yeah.
to make yourself feel good. And then you wake up to more debts, or you wake up to no money at all.
Whereas also other people get into 1,000 relationships
Yeah.
when stressed.
Yeah.
Because
To get
you-
over this, you get under something
you get-
else.
not even over a relationship. not because they're trying maybe to move on,
Eh.
but because of stress.
Yes, because they want to forget their stress. Because then,
Yeah.
if it's substance abuse, I think then sex also is supposed to be added in
Yes.
the substance. It is a substance that
Yeah.
can be abused.
Yeah.
Because then you're doing it to numb your pain.
Yeah, so Kavuyo.
Indeed, Kabuyo.
But with the recent trend, I've seen men are more affected. I really don't know why, but perhaps it could be a result of the societal misconceptions, whereby the society judges, and we have that feeling that a man has to be strong, man has to be the breadwinner of the family, and oftentimes the men normally don't speak out their problems. You find because of that, the way the society perceives you to be a man,
Since
you
childhood.
decide to say, no, I cannot
They're not
open
allowed to
up
be
and speak to her."
vulnerable at
To either
all.
to speak to my spouse or that kind of thing. Then equally also,
Even
some spouses, you find I'm a man, I say, if I talk to my wife about this, what if it gets out of hand? Would she tell the other friend what? There's always that time whereby we
Yeah,
say
but why
women
then?
talk and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, but she's your wife. You're supposed to be vulnerable with her. You're supposed to tell her all the dirty things, you know?
But you see, in me as a man, I
You want to
have the
keep your
feeling that I
pride.
am the man. Like, because if now my wife, my family, they all come and get solutions from me. So now you sit down and reflect. If I open up to them, I also have this problem. Of course, even they themselves, you find
So
that
you
times-
must be able to measure the strength of your woman. If you know your woman is weak, leave her alone. If you know she's strong,
You know, they usually say our gender, we don't know what we want. There is a time it was on Twitter when a lady was mentioning that the boyfriend is a crybaby, so people down were writing comments like, but you
was
ladies,
it for likes or for following? Because some of those things sometimes they don't sound real.
Some of the things are
but
real.
they're real, because as soon
Why
as
would you
we
say
say,
that?
as soon as we say, let these men open up to us,
All
they
of a
open up
sudden,
on something
and
and you're
then they
like,
become
but
a
you're a
crybaby.
man. Like, some
Figure
of these
it
things
out.
you can figure it out minus involving me. So I think it's important to start with the very young boys, to let them know that being vulnerable is okay. It is very fine to say that I'm not okay at this
So
point.
what you're saying is the men, the grown ones, like the Samuels, that kacha mama mira ukagolola kamenyeka.
That is what I'm thinking, because even themselves, they might not allow.
They have taken it in and
Yes.
they have sucked it up and they have accepted it.
That, you know.
So now even if you tell them you be vulnerable, they're like, what? So that you call me a
Correct.
crybaby.
So
I will not.
maybe starting with the young ones.
Yeah,
we can
primary
let,
and even the parents need the awareness.
we can let
That
them
a boy
know that,
child, do not treat them so different. Yes, I know the world can be hard on them and they need to toughen up, but don't tell them to suck it up and just keep quiet with their problems.
a man doesn't cry, a man doesn't do this, a man that, you know. But there is that point where all this person wants, and I think that is why we see all these violences, and in most cases it is men, because they do not know how to deal with these things. You know, at least as a woman, you're going to cry and you put your pain out there. But a man,
You'll put it on a status, you'll call your girlfriends,
you know,
come,
you
I tell you small.
you know, you block people, maybe.
So you're creating outlets for your emotions. Meanwhile, the man is just locking up the emotions to themselves and saying, I don't want to be deemed as weak. I want to remain strong. So in order for me to remain strong, I must keep quiet.
And even if it is workplaces, you see those days when they say this woman is being dramatic, it's helping her. Like, maybe this workmate we are not in good terms, so I won't reply her when she says morning, or when she does this, I won't.
And I will feel good.
I'll feel good.
If I block you for a minute.
But for the man,
they
cannot do that. They don't want to be dramatic. So before you know it, you are beating up people.
So what you're saying, men should be dramatic?
Dramatic, a bit drama here and there. It's okay.
Guys, while you learn to be dramatic, we are coming back. Don't go away, just get a coffee, get a drink, come back, let's have this conversation. And we would love to hear from you in the comment section. Tell us, what do you think is happening and what is bringing us to this point? And what's the way forward? Are we going to get worse or do we have a hope of getting better? You and I can answer that question.